All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We're excited to be here. We're excited that we have some normalcy. It's good to see everybody's faces, the player representatives from all the other Pac-12 schools, the head football coaches, the ADs, be able to shake hands and have some sense of normalcy going into the 2021 season. We're really excited. We felt like we had a really good team in 2020. We obviously all went through a very adverse situation with the pandemic, but then having our season cut short, we kept the virus out of our building for so long. But as everybody can see, the coronavirus does not discriminate. Ended our season short, and so there's really a sense of unfinished business with our football team. We've had a really good off season. Our guys have trained and had a huge chip on their shoulder for the way our season unfolded and ended in 2020. We had a few players that had a chance to go on to the National Football League, but decided to come back and wear that gold Washington helmet one more time to end it the right way. We have a bunch of returning starters on both sides of the ball, and we have some tremendous depth. But we still got to put in the work. We put a bunch of work in from January up until July, and now we're excited to have a very competitive August training camp and let the cream rise to the top at every single position group. So we're excited, and we're ready to get to work.
Coach Cameron Buford, Los Angeles. I'd like to ask you, what is your communication to your teammate or to your players on the NIL ruling? And how do you approach that, and how do you expect that to impact your team in the locker room?
Yeah, so it's obviously a huge deal for amateurs. This has been a long time coming. I think it's a huge landscape that's unknown for a lot of entities. But really, the message to our team is we need to focus on becoming better football players, and we need to go out there and win some football games. And if we do that, all that stuff is going to take care of itself. If we go out there and don't play very well and don't have a very good team, there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to want to pay our players for the name, image, and likeness. And so, my message, to my team is, I know Michael Jordan, he wasn't worried about who was sponsoring him when he was out there winning championships. He was worried about winning championships and let all that stuff, take care of itself in the end. And so if we, which I'm very proud of our team, they've stayed focused. They haven't spent their entire time, trying to promote their name, image, and likeness, which I'm all for our players, cashing in, so to speak, on money that they're able to receive from places. But if we focus on our team first, and that's our culture, we focus on the team first. If we focus on the team first, all that stuff will take care of itself.
Hey, Coach. Owen Kaminsky with Right for Cal. I know this was your first year as a head coach. Congratulations on finishing it. What did you think about it your first year? Did it live up to your expectations? Has it been the dream that you always thought? And then what didn't you expect and kind of have to learn on the fly?
I didn't expect a worldwide pandemic, that's for sure. I don't think any of us expected that. But it's just funny. Things prepare you for certain moments, and my over 20 years coaching, in a weird way, prepared me for this moment of going through these challenges that we went through in 2020. I've been a part of staffs who've been fired. I've had to move across the country. I've had to pack my family up in a U-Haul and move ourselves to different locations. And so, all those ups and downs that I've gone through throughout my career prepared me and our team for the challenges that we had in 2020. I pride myself on being prepared, always being prepared, and then the coronavirus really turned the whole world, upside down. And so it was hard to be prepared for the coronavirus and the different curveballs it threw at you from every single day, from planning and schedules, you name it. But it made our team grow closer, going through something so adverse as that. And now we're excited that we can have a normal 2021 season, which I know college football fans are extremely excited about as well.
What did you like most about being a head coach in your first year?
You know, I think what I liked most was just really probably implementing my competitive nature. I compete at everything. My family will tell you that. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I'm always trying to win, trying to compete, trying to make everything a competition. And you know, I've done that on the defensive side of the ball for all these years, and just be able to get that competitive nature now to our special teams, to our offense, and have that same philosophy that we compete at everything, and that we play a tough, physical, smart brand of football in all three phases. That was probably the thing I was excited about is making sure that competitive juice and competitive nature was throughout our whole team. Thank you.
Mike Farrell, Seattle Times. Jimmy, it's been a struggle at times for Pac-12 schools to keep the best players out west in terms of recruiting in recent years. Just what is UW's strategy? What's your strategy and your message in trying to keep the best players out west?
Yeah, you know, this isn't you know, something new. You know, back in the early 2000s, you know, when Pete Carroll was making his run at USC and in Texas with Mac Brown, and they're winning national championships. You know, they did a good job of recruiting other parts of the country. And it's so funny, back then, no one was saying, you know, how USC was stealing guys from the Northeast and from the South. It wasn't a news story. But, you know, I get it. We're one conference out west. We're representing the whole country out here out west, and so it's probably a bigger story than it needs to be. I think every single year there's going to be players that leave our footprint, but there's also going to be players that stay, just like there have been for decades. I know this, the National Football League loves our players, especially at the University of Washington. Nobody's had more NFL draft picks since 2014 than the University of Washington. And so we believe that the players that we have selected and have developed and trained, we wouldn't want anybody else to sign with us. We feel like we're pinpointing the right guys. And I think some other teams in our conference can say the same thing. I think it is a fantasy world to think that you know, every player from the state of California, from the state of Washington, from the state of Oregon, Arizona is just going to stay here right in our footprint. Just like it's a fantasy for players that are in the Southeast are going to stay there. You know, they're going to go up to the Midwest, they're going to go to the Northeast, they're going to come out west. That's just the nature of recruiting and the nature of college football, and it's exciting. It's exciting to have these different players from different parts of the country play in different footprints.
All right, Coach Lynn Harrington with State Light and Power 5. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Okay, the Pac-12 is leading all Power 5 conferences with 4 African-American head coaches. How does that make you feel, you know, being an African-American coach and being a part of this league?
Yeah, no, it's really special. I think you know, our states are really you know, at the forefront of being you know, ahead, and what I think of how in the future, hopefully, all of our conferences are that way. They are more diverse, and I think the Pac-12 has been at the head of that. But you know, my focus is just being successful and doing this job the best I can, so more people that look like me, that have a background like me, can get these opportunities to become a coordinator and to become a head coach. And so it is special. But at the same time, I don't wake up every day thinking about it. I wake up every day thinking about how we can make the University of Washington one of the best teams in the country. And then I know the after effects of that will be people that do look like me will get these opportunities in the future.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Christian Capel from The Athletic. Hey, Jimmy, to kind of follow up on the idea of recruiting from different regions. You guys are in Texas pretty consistently and have been for several years now. But, you know, not a whole lot in the Southeast or in the South. What are the challenges of a program like Washington trying to establish itself in different regions? And do you think you need to do that to be the program you want to be?
You know, I don't think we need to do that. I think there's always special cases where we can go outside of our footprint, where there's a connection. We've actually had, you know, players that have become that are Washington football fans, and their dream was to play at Washington. So if there's a special connection like that, for sure. But we feel there's enough talent in the footprints that we currently recruit in to win the Pac-12 and be on that national stage, which we've been on. Now we just got to make sure we win those football games that we've been in. Those 3 New Year's Six games in a row that we went to from 2016 to 2018, we need to take that next step and win those football games. And when we do that, there won't be all this talk of, we need to go recruit way outside of our footprint, all those things. And again, I go back to, the proofs in the pudding of, the best football in the world, the National Football League, loves our players. They love our players from our team. And I go back to our recruiting department, our coaches selecting the right players, and then our strength and conditioning department making sure that they develop these players the right way. But there's always going to be, what I never want to do is take my attention somewhere way far away and then miss out on the players that are right around us, because we've been very, very successful with the players that are in our current footprint. But we never want to handcuff ourselves, Christian. If there's somebody that is outside our footprint and we have a special need, we will go get those guys for sure.
Lauren Smith, News Tribune. Coach, you touched on this a bit earlier, but with your first season being so short, how do you kind of approach year 2 now that you do get a full slate of games?
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been exciting having a normal off season. I mean, from January to now, to have that, to be around our team and, for the coronavirus protocols to be less because, we're close to 95, almost over 95% vaccinated. Our staff is 100% vaccinated. So in our building, it's business as it used to be before 2020. I'm extremely excited. Spring football was awesome to watch all the competition going on at every single position group and the offense against the defense. Having fans back in the stands was awesome during spring football. We were able to open it up, and not playing in front of cardboard cutouts was really special for our team, and it brought more juice to practice. And so now we're extremely excited about having a normal training camp and again, opening up, having the media and having fans come and watch us play. It's been a long time. The Seattle area loves their football. They want to come see us. I know that. And we're going to allow those guys to come and see us. And then we can't wait to go out there in that first game September 4th with a packed Husky Stadium and show Husky Nation what the 2021 UW football team is all about.
Hey, Jimmy, Theo Lawson with the Spokesman Review in Spokane. There's been a lot of discussion about vaccines, especially in the wake of Coach Rolovich announcing he's not vaccinated. Do you think coaches kind of have an obligation to be vaccinated, and especially with your team being at over 90% and your staff at 100% right now?
Yeah, I think what we did at Washington is we brought in experts. We brought in experts that are way smarter than me, doctors that went to school maybe quadruple the times the amount I went to school. And what we did was we brought these guys, these men and women in to talk to our team, to talk to our staff as well, and talk about what the vaccine means and the positives, the negatives. And after all the information that we received, it was beyond, it was 100% that you should go get this vaccine. It is the best thing to do to end the pandemic and to protect your safety. That was the information that we received from some really smart people, some really smart doctors. And it all started, in Seattle, we were at the forefront, our doctors were at the forefront of attacking this pandemic for the whole world. And so we were very thankful to be able to bring those doctors in. And but at the end of the day, it is a decision. It's an individual decision for anybody, whether they want to get the vaccine or not. But I think the information that our team heard, that our staff heard, it was overwhelming evidence the best thing to end this pandemic and to protect yourself and to protect your family and your friends, it was to get the vaccine. So I'm extremely pleased where we are 100% of our staff is vaccinated and over 95% of our team is vaccinated.
Like for Seattle Times again, Jimmy, you guys just announced the bringing on Kevin Carroll to add in an advisor role. Just what is his presence going to bring to you guys, and how would you describe what his role will be with the program?
Yeah, Kevin first spoke to our team, I believe it was back in 2017, and just left a huge impression on our staff and our players. Two guys I'll point out, Dante Pettis, who now plays for the New York Giants, Miles Bryant, who now plays for the New England Patriots. I know they really latched on to KC. We call him KC. They really latched on to him, and he's a motivator. He's a catalyst. He puts a spark in you. He's extremely smart, and he's extremely engaging. He's going to be a huge help to me. He's already been a huge help to me. So we brought him in to speak to our team again this offseason. I believe it was in March. And the overwhelming impact that he had on our team again, it was even twice what he did the first time around. I knew that I wanted this man around our team, and to be able to hire him as a special advisor to me, but also a resource for our players and our staff, it's going to be game changing. He's going to be around our team weekly. We will have him on speed dial, our players and myself included. So we are extremely, extremely excited to add Kevin Carroll to our staff.
I figured I'd ask as well, just bringing Bookie in, just what has his presence been like? What is his impact on the field in the DB room? What's that been like to this point?
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. He is. We're so thankful that he decided to come to the University of Washington. He's coming in with the right mindset. He fits right into our culture. We love players that are all about hard work, about competing, and that's exactly what he's done as soon as he stepped foot on campus. He had a big-time spring football, made a bunch of plays, but really became a leader for our team throughout the course of spring football because everyone saw the work that he was putting in the film room. The first thing he did, he grabbed Trent McDuffie and some of our players and said, I want to learn your defense inside and out. I want to watch film with you guys. And our guys are already big film watchers. And so we watched a bunch of film with those guys. And then to go out there, work as hard as he did in the weight room, and then out there on the football field, making plays, always talking about football. He's a dog. That is simple as that. And we talk about what dogs are. They're big time people, but also big time football players. This guy loves football. He has high football character. He's a great person, and you can already tell he's going to make a bunch of plays for us. He's a leader for us, and he's going to energize our stadium when he does it. We are very thankful that Buki decided to come to the University of Washington.
So you have Dyson, Zakari, and Vince Nunley that came in from the spring of the sign. Just how have you seen them ingratiate themselves into the DB room this summer?
You said Vince Nunley and Zakari Spears? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
and Dyson?
And Dyson, yeah. Just talk about their initial impression since they've come on campus.
Right. Yeah, no. And so, those guys just came in like a normal freshman would come in during the summertime. And so they've, have taken all the classes to prepare them for college. They've been in the weight room. We haven't been around, we're not allowed to be around those guys very much. And so we didn't get a look at them, like if, they're able to play spring football. But all indications are, hearing from the players and their player run practices that they're fitting right in. They love football. They're learning everything. They've done a good job on the weight room training. But I'll have way more input once we get into training camp and we get to see those guys operate and we actually get to coach them in training camp. So I'll have a better answer for you then on those 3 true freshmen that just joined us on June 18th.
And then with the recruiting side of things, when it came to June, recruiting opened back up, and so you guys got to host kids again. And just how different was that, finally getting to have kids back on campus? Just did you guys change anything? Was there anything different that you learned in the past year that you implemented in that, or just talk about that?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time. I mean, these guys have been waiting for so long. The players, the prospects, for going to visit, these places that they've dreamed about going to visit. And so it was a really exciting time for the players and their families to get on campus and to see what they saw virtually on Zoom for that last almost a year and a half, but to be able to see it in person, to be able to shake hands and see Husky Stadium, see our campus, and meet with our professors and meet with our strength and conditioning staff. It was an awesome time. It was very, very busy, as you can imagine. We had a bunch of unofficial visitors and, of course, also official visitors. But it was an exciting time, and it felt like it felt normal. And I think that's what we all want right now is a normal year. And so I was excited for those prospects to be able to do that, not only at our place, but to go see these other places, because that's what we want. We want these guys to go see all these other places, and then hopefully they come back around and go, you know what, I want to go to UW. UW was the best one.
5 more minutes with the coach and players.
We've all seen your 6-team playoff model by now. What do you think about the 12-team proposal?
The positive thing is that we're adding more teams into the fold. Christian mentioned, I sent it out, Christian, and I'm sure our local media knows, I had a 6-game playoff. I would rather keep it more tight. I think there's only a select few teams that really should be up for the national championship. And you think of decades and decades of college football, before there was even a playoff, it usually came down to 1 or 2 teams. And you knew, like, hey, that team, 12-0, 11-0, whatever it is. To open up to 12, hey, that's a positive step in the right direction. Let's take the subjectivity out of it. Let's take the voting out of it. Let's let it be settled in between the white lines. And so to be able to open up to 12 teams is phenomenal for college football. We'll be able to, the worst phrase I hate to hear, and I'm sure we're going to hear it again, is the eye test. The eye test. The eye test. Like, really? What is how about the field test? How about a team going against a team, and who's going to come out the other side and who's going to win the football game? Let's have that happen. Let's take the subjectivity out of it. Let's let it be settled on the football field. And so opening up to 12 teams will be great, as long as we're well represented across the country.
Straight X's and O's question for you, Jimmy, especially as a defensive guy. The sport, is going to a lot of 2-down lines.
Is going to, I'm sorry, your math.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's going to a lot of 2-down defensive lines as a sport. The division, yourselves included, though, is still very pro-style, 12, 13, 22, outside of Oregon and Wazoo, maybe. So how do you go about defensively managing where the sport is going, but your division is very much kind of a throwback to a different style?
Yeah, no, that's college football. And that's college football for decades. You see so many different types of offenses that you have to defend, and that's the beauty of this thing. It changes from week to week, and we've done a good job over the years of being able to be successful against a pro style, against an up tempo, against an air raid, against a spread. Every single week it's going to be different, and we're able to deploy defenses to handle that. You're right. Our conference, you're seeing more of a smash mouth, 2 tight end, 3 tight end, with more teams now, and so now, defense, we have to react on defense, and so if that's what we're seeing from the offensive side of the ball and our opponents, we need to be able to react and deploy our defense accordingly to stop that offense. But I think it's an awesome challenge. I love how diverse it is in our conference and in college football. I had experience in the National Football League, and sometimes it's very cookie cutter. Everyone's running basically the same thing. They copy each other, and it all looks the same. I love the diversity of college football and the offenses that you have to stop.
So to follow with that, because you hit on the NFL there, because so much is, again, heading in one direction, where do you draw the inspiration, or where to try to find solutions for a style that is not being run at the pro level, that is not being run outside of the Pac-12 and a handful of option teams, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we do studies. I do studies, and our defensive staff does studies on defenses in college and the NFL every single year, and we are always pulling things, or we can go back in history of what we've done when we saw this certain type of offense years ago. And so it's really cool. We'll be game planning and watch and go, oh yeah, I remember 10 years ago, this is very, very similar. And then we go back, blow the cobwebs and the dust off that playbook and go, okay, you know what? We know what works against this. And of course, we'll now have a few little variables and a couple of wrinkles that we'll add in there. But it's not too often that we're surprised by anything that we see. We've seen it all now. I think, I give a lot of respect to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly changed football back at Oregon when they were going up tempo, and changed high school football, college football, and the NFL. And now you see a lot of teams, still doing a little bit of those things that he was doing back then. But I think that was the last major shift in offensive football, was when what he was doing there at the University of Oregon, however many years ago that is now. But currently, you haven't seen a change in offensive style. I have not seen a change in offensive style of football to that height, the way that he changed football, almost a decade ago.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.